I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution. What is going on? Mark Hoppus back for another Midday Muscle. Hats backward this time, watch out! And we'll get things started today with a new update from William Martens, after he announced that he was going to make his season debut closer to the end of the summer, or possibly even in the early fall. According to the latest report from his camp, his weight is still hovering somewhere around the 320-pound range, which is pretty wild when you look at how lean he's looking, despite being so heavy. Obviously, for a guy this size, the real key will be whether or not they can get into true contest shape without having to suck down so much that it makes them look over-dieted. But if he comes in with the same conditioning he had at the Arnold Brazil, without having to eat up too much muscle, he could absolutely be a threat to give some people a scare in the right lineup. And as you may have already heard, there was a big announcement that came from Patrick Moore, who allegedly is bringing his talents to the Windy City for the next stop on his 2023 campaign. Granted, there has rightfully been some skepticism from some of Patrick's fans about whether he'll actually end up seeing him in Chicago, because he's already put out the California and Orlando pros this year after committing to be on their stage too. And that might leave some pretty big questions to answer. We know that Blessing Awadibu and Justin Shearer have surged to the front of the pack as the heavy favorites there. So if he goes out and ends up missing the mark, or isn't at least in the conversation for a top 3, it's going to be really interesting to see what the fallout from that may be. And if you were lucky enough to be in the building at the NPC South Central USA, I bet you were pretty happy on Monday morning, because Hunter Labrada made sure that everyone got their money's worth when he stepped in as one of the featured guest posers. We've seen Hunter guest pose a few times over the last couple of weeks, but something that really jumped out here was the fact that he looks even sharper and fuller than he did a few weeks back at the Lee Labrada Classic. That's a good sign that all systems are fully operational as he heads into his season debut in Tampa, which is right around the corner now. If we get a fully blown version of him when he touches down in Tampa, that might be all she wrote, because it's going to be a tough task for anyone who has to try slowing that juggernaut down. And last but not least, we have what we're calling a bombshell announcement from GoodVito you may have already heard. Vito announced over the weekend that he might end up being sidelined for the foreseeable future after he fractured a knee ligament when he jumped from the stage during a guest posing appearance last weekend. According to Vito's team, he knew that he sustained an injury almost immediately after he hit the floor, and he was taken to the hospital for evaluation right after that venue when he finished his routine. Cool that he finished his routine, by the way. Now, as of the time that we recorded this, we still haven't heard an official timeline for when or if we're going to see him compete during the 2023 contest season. But if we just assume that he won't be able to train his legs at all while he's going to be through the rehab process, for the time being, it looks like this year's most anticipated debut won't be happening anytime soon. And there we have it, the end of another Midday Muscle. I'm Tyler, Mark Hoppus, cares.